Everybody, this is Mr. Beckstrom. Today I'm looking at an example from section 1.5. The hardest part of this one is finding the intercepts. It's just quite a bit of algebra and using that quadratic formula that probably a lot of us haven't used in a while. But it says for the equation x squared plus y squared minus 4x minus 6y minus 23, do the following. They want us to find the center, hk, and the radius r of the circle. They want us to graph the circle, and then they want us to find all of the intercepts, if any. All right, so the first part of it, finding the equation. Remember, we need to know the standard form of that equation, and that's going to look like this. So we're going to have x minus h, quantity squared, plus y minus k, quantity squared, and that's going to be equal to r squared. So this is the form that we're trying to get it into. And once we get it into this form here, then the center of our circle will be hk, and the radius of our circle will be r. Usually in order to get into this form, if it's looking something like this, we're going to have to do some completing the square, which looks like we're probably going to have to do that here. So the way I'm going to set it up to start with is I'm going to group our x's together and leave a space, group our y's together, leave a space, and then put our constants over on the right hand side. All right, so x squared minus 4x, and then like I said, I'm going to leave a space, and then plus y squared minus 6y minus 6y, leave a space, equals, and take that constant, put it on the right hand side, equals 23. And we're going to see why we do that in a second. All right, so now I want to complete the square. In order to complete the square, I need to take the constant or the coefficient in front of the variable raised to the first power. So for the x's, that would be the 4 here, or the negative 4. I need to divide that coefficient by 2, and then square that. So 4 divided by 2 would be 2, and then 2 squared would be 4. So I need to add a 4. Add a 4. And since I added a 4 to the left side, I need to go ahead and add a 4 to the right side. And then do the same thing with the y's. So the coefficient in front of the y raised to the first power is a negative 6. So I need to first divide that negative 6 by 2, which is a negative 3. And then I need to square that negative 3, which is a positive 9. Since we're squaring it, we're always going to end up getting a positive. So I need to add a 9. And since I added a 9 to the left side, I also need to add a 9 to the right side. Now, what does this do? This lets us make a quadratic that we can rewrite into a binomial squared term for both the x's and the y's. That means that the way that we added that specific number, it's going to then allow us to write the x's as x minus 2 quantity squared. It'll always be that first number that we found when we first divided by 2, plus y, and the first number that we found when we divided by 2 was negative 3, so y minus 3 quantity squared is equal to, and 23 plus 4 plus 9 is 36, and I can write that as 6 squared. So now I've got it into this form right here, which means that my h is going to be positive 2, my k will be positive 3, because since I have minuses there, it'll be the opposite signs of whatever's here, and my r will be a 6. All right, so my center is 2, 3, my radius is 6, so that is my first answer. So hk is 2, 3, that's my HK, and my radius is 6. All right. So the second thing I want to do is I want to graph this circle, and I have one already graphed. I'm just going to go ahead and copy this over for you to see what that's going to look like. So this is what that graph circle should look like in your MyMathLab there. And we can see that these intercepts don't quite look like they go exactly through whole numbers. And this one was kind of a pain getting those intercepts. So this is where most of our work is going to come in. So then it says find the intercepts, and we want actually all 4 of these points listed as points. So this one, that one, and that one. Yep. So in order to find points for those intercepts, to get the x-intercepts, we're going to go back to this original equation. We're going to let the y's equal 0. And to find the y-intercepts, we're going to let the x's equal 0. And we'll go ahead and do this now. All right. So let me give myself some more room. All right. And so let's start by finding the x-intercepts. That would be this point here and this point here. So by doing that, I'm going to let the y's equal 0. So all the y terms will cancel out of the original equation, and I'll just be left with the x terms and the constants. So that will give me the equation x squared minus 4x minus 23 is equal to 0. So I have a quadratic that will not factor because this is a prime number here. And so the only way I could factor this would be 23 and 1, and I definitely can't get a minus 4, which tells me I have to use the quadratic formula. So yucky. So that's going to be negative b. So that's going to be 4 plus or minus the square root of b squared. That's going to be 16 minus 4 times a, which is 1, times c, which is negative 23, all over 2a, which is 2 times 1. All right, so this is going to end up being 4 plus or minus the square root of, I think I did that, so let me pull my calculator up here. So this is going to be a plus, so this is going to be 16 plus 4 times 23, 108, and that is, 108 is 2 times 64, so I'm going to write that, so it's just 108 right now, 108 all over 2, and myself, so we can actually write that as 4 plus or minus 6 root 3. My math is off today. So that can actually, everything can still be divided by 2, and that's going to end up giving us 2 plus or minus 3 root 3. That's what it was, 3 root 3. And that's going to be our final answer there. So we're going to have 2 points for our x-intercepts there. So we'll end up having 2 plus 3 root 3, 0, 3 root 3, 0, and 2 minus 3 root 3, 0. All right. And now to do the other one. To find the y-intercepts, we're going to let the x's equal 0. So we're going to get the equation y squared minus 6y minus 23 is equal to 0. And then we're going to end up kind of doing the same kind of thing with the quadratic formula. And so we're going to have a negative b, so that will be 6 plus or minus the square root of b squared 36 minus 4 times a times c. So 4 times a times c all over 2 times a. All right, so that will be 6 plus or minus the square root of 36 plus 4 times 23, 128, and that was my 2 times 64. So 128 all over 2, and that's going to be 6 plus or minus 8 root 2 all over 2, which reduces down to 3 plus or minus 4 root 2. 4 root 2. So these y-intercepts are going to be 0, 3 plus 4 root 2, and 0, 3 minus 4 root 2. 3 minus 4 root 2. So to answer it, you would have all 4 of these points all separated by commas. So a lot of work. If you have any questions, let me know, and I hope you have a great rest of your week. Thanks.